evening, everyone, and welcome to what really will be a very special edition of the Gator Pit. I'm Nick Gator, joined with me, as always, hashtag give Corey Santiago a chance.
I won't be doing another show until my salary is increased.
Fantastic. Well, we do have some breaking news, and we'll just start with some background here. So Raw was last night. On Raw, there was a Divas tag match, Paige and Emma versus the Bellas. The whole thing was weird. They had Paige come out, and then they did the Sting video. And then they had Emma do the enhancement talent entrance, and then they did the Bellas entrance, and then they had a 30-second event. And that started a big problem online. The hashtag GiveDivasAChance was trending. Now that's related to something that happened earlier where they were trying to get R-Truth into the Intercontinental title race. And so it got hijacked, basically. And people complaining that the Divas got 30 seconds on a 3-hour show and they deserve better than that, and et cetera and so on. Now, apparently, according to Corey, they actually did this again on Main Event that no one in America can see, so that really solves nothing, and they should have just done it on SmackDown. But they got 6 minutes on Main Event. Okay. Also, at the Oscars Sunday night, Patricia Arquette won for Best Supporting Actress, and in her address to the Oscars, she talked about equality for women. Okay? That's all the background. So Stephanie McMahon tweeted, "Thank you, Patty Arquette, for having the courage to fight for women's rights on such a grand platform." In response to this, AJ Lee tweets and tags Stephanie McMahon, "Your female wrestlers have record-selling merchandise and have starred in the highest-rated segment of the show several times, and yet they receive a fraction of the wages and screen time of the majority of the male roster." Mrs. Brooks dropping her own pipe bombs here.
Not the first time.
And the question here is, what are the consequences? Because there's a lot of things that can happen. My initial response to the AJ was going to get fired, but people on Twitter have made a good point that if that's what happens, the company is going to come under some heavy scrutiny, not only from the fan base, possibly, but from outside sources. And that may be a problem. Is this possibly a work that they're setting something up between Stephanie and AJ? I just don't get that feeling. And is this a way that AJ's trying to get fired with nothing to lose? Is that a possibility here? There's a lot of things in play. I mean, this literally happened right before we went on the air. And what do? If this happens, if this is a normal workplace, the person gets fired. But WWE is not a normal workplace.
Wrestling in general is not normal, so...
Yeah. So let's go with the assumption that this is not a work, that this was not planned or staged. What happens next? What do you think?
I immediately turn it into an angle. If I'm Stephanie, I'm on the phone with AJ right now thinking of ways to make this work.
Now, we have a, not difference of opinion, but we have a different outlook on this. That I basically said because of who it is, I wouldn't turn it into a work. And you said because of who it is, it makes the most sense to turn it into an angle. And I tend to agree, but I don't know if they will trust her to go out there and do business. You're going to give her a live microphone and you're going to put her in an angle where she's unhappy with the McMahons while the company or a doctor associated with the company is suing her husband.
I think so. I think she'd play ball. One, if the money's right, she'll play ball. And two, she seems like she's a professional at her job, and I don't think she'd go off the rails. And because if they're going to do this angle, it's going to be very, very real already. So what more could she really do that's going to, make her go up? Like, this is going to be a very personal thing if this is turned into an angle, or if it is an angle. So,
well, they'll definitely be personal.
What really could she do that would shock people if that the McMahons won't know about?
Well, I mean, it's everything that we've already heard.
Exactly, but they're going to get into that. Like, there's no doubt they'll bring up Punk. They'll bring up that she's married to Punk and what she's had to go through, and either some of the benefits she's received from who she's been with to all the stuff that she has to go through now. So I don't think that would be an issue. I think she'd be professional enough to go out there and make this whole thing work, because I think she'd know that it would mean good things for her and for the rest of the roster.
Well, I think that's the reason she still has a job at this point, is that she is a professional. So it would be interesting. It would definitely be interesting if this turned into an angle. And remember, some of the most fun storylines have come from the truth, and the whole CM Punk pipe bomb thing to begin with was from a place of truth, that his contract was up, that there were stories he wasn't going to re-sign, and they did good business with that. People are still talking about that. And how many years ago was that? The WWE Summer of Punk thing? 5 years ago? 4 years ago?
2011?
So 4 years ago. So they could definitely do some business here. Will they? I don't know.
Well, let's put it this way. Yesterday, a report came out saying that they have a story ready for AJ Lee for her to return, and today this happens.
So you think maybe there was a plan to do something? And
I wouldn't rule it. Can you rule it out?
No, you definitely can't rule it out. Maybe there was a plan to do something, and they're seizing the opportunity here.
I mean, they have had a little, tension before. We've seen them in the ring before, where they've kind of stared each other down and
absolutely
and all that. So we always say if there was really a diva, and Brie Bella got the chance to do it, but if there was one diva that should have been able to feud with Stephanie, it was AJ.
Yeah. Interesting. It's very interesting. It's an interesting time to be a fan. That's for sure. And it gets more interesting every day. Speaking of interesting times to be a wrestling fan,
why are you whispering so much?
I didn't know I was whispering.
You're very soft-spoken tonight.
Well, I have to say that there's one of the reasons that we're recording a little later is because there's some stuff going on that I'm trying to not interrupt. So I'm not being as verbose on purpose. And I was told that this would be done, that the interruption would be done by the time I got home, and that's not the case. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. We all have our crosses to bear. You have 8 feet of snow, and I have my thing.
-12 this morning.
But you're in Canada. This is what happens.
Canada.
We could sell New Hampshire to Canada and be fine.
No. Actually, go ahead. I'll move back to Massachusetts, where I want to be anyways.
We could sell Massachusetts to Canada also.
No, please. We would kick Canada's ass.
We could absolutely do that. Okay. So why don't we talk a little bit about what may or may not have happened behind the scenes last night on Raw. Apparently your World Heavyweight title holder, Brock Lesnar, is in some sort of dispute of some kind with WWE over his contract, not about the creative aspect, but about something going on the money side.
Allegedly.
Yes. Well,
D-Melts.
I don't want to put words in Dave Meltzer's mouth, but he said he didn't know what was going on, but there was something, and there was a question. Yeah, and there was something that a question that needed to be answered. He didn't know what the question was. And so originally they kept on prompting us that Brock was going to be on and face Roman Reigns, whatever. And Heyman came out. So what the hell is this? Because Brock is paid a lot of money to do very little. What could possibly be the problem?
I have no idea. I personally am hoping for that it has nothing to do with the contract and more if he doesn't want to put Roman Reigns over.
Oh no, I think that's not. That
maybe he wants more money to put Roman Reigns over.
Oh, I think Brock is a businessman. I don't think it's that.
Exactly. Brock will do the business and he pay him more money.
Does that mean he would be okay with dropping the title to Bryan?
Oh yeah. If you pay Brock Lesnar enough money, Brock Lesnar will pretty much do anything on TV.
He isn't making enough money already? Is he really is he holding the company up for more money?
No, I don't think it's anything like that. I have no idea what's going on here. I don't know if they're trying to renegotiate the contract for an extension or something, and he felt insulted by what they were offering.
That could be possible. Maybe they offered him less.
Yeah, like that's possible.
Yeah, that's of all the possibilities, that seems maybe one of the most likely. So what happens? Let's just throw this out there because someone tweeted this out. What happens if something happens and Brock takes his ball and goes home and they vacate the title? Do you do Bryan and Reigns in the main event?
I wouldn't do them one-on-one. I would find a way to... let's see. You got to get Curtis Axel in there somehow because he's still in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, triple threat right there.
I don't know. I mean, you could do that one-on-one, but I don't know. Do you add more guys to it?
I think you have Sting and Hunter, and that's... Sting walks away with the gold.
Let's do a Money in the Bank style ladder match for the title.
That's possible. And
Finn Balor walks out as champion.
Here we go. You have that on one end, and then Dave would say, "Well, Hulk Hogan."
Yeah, I know. I'm going for the youth, the up and coming star. Dave wants to go to the 60-year-old who's had his time.
At least Finn Balor will probably be having the world title before Hulk Hogan at this point.
I would sure hope so, because if he doesn't, then we have some huge issues on our hands.
Yes. And besides, can Hulk Hogan climb the ladder to get the belt?
I think he could. He's got 2 new hips, right?
I heard his hips don't lie. That's what Shakira told me. Okay, so we don't know what so stuff is going on with AJ and Stephanie. Stuff is going on with Brock.
I want to know who he yelled at.
Maybe they fired that guy who insulted Alberto Del Rio.
Were Vince and Brock, yelling at each other? Because that could be, a lot of testosterone flying.
Yeah, it could. You've seen Vince's photos for Muscle and Fitness.
That would be awesome.
Well, what we do know out of Fastlane is that Roman Reigns is going to WrestleMania. He pinned Daniel Bryan cleanly. No one ran in. There was no Sheamus, no nothing. And we are getting the main event we deserve. Aren't you excited?
Yes,
I can tell.
I really don't know. I feared how that match is going to go. I'm not sure. It could get Goldberg, Brock Lesnar bad, I think.
Well, someone sent that out. I think I sent you the photo.
The styles just don't seem to mesh where it's going to be this exciting match.
Well, who is going to call? You don't want Brock calling it. You certainly don't want Roman calling it. Is Heyman going to be calling it?
Yeah, Heyman from outside calling the match.
Is senior referee Mike Chioda going to be calling it?
I don't know. Can he do it from backstage?
Please. I did not see a lot of Patton anywhere. It was fantastic. That terrible referee from TNA got two times he was out there.
And he screwed up the one.
And he screwed up. That Goldust Stardust thing was weird. And then they showed it again. Like they did the replay.
Yeah. And it had nothing to do with the angle either. That was just a complete mess up.
Yeah, it was very weird. Maybe they'll make that part of the angle.
I doubt it.
They fire that guy.
They made no mention of it on Raw.
Fire that guy and fire Zapata and bring up Drake.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, let's get Drake up here.
Love Drake. Fine Canadian. He was great when he hosted Saturday Night Live. He was fantastic.
Stop it. Gross. So excitement for Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I really think that the crowd is just going to completely turn on the match.
It's definitely possible, and
you're going to get a lot of Daniel Bryan chants. You're going to get a lot of those weird chants happening, and
pretzel guy. We get a pretzel guy.
You're going to get a lot of that.
And it's not.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah, I disagree that they're going to turn on it because I think you're going to get one, maybe 2 more episodes of Raw where you've got. This week it was Daniel Bryan and Paul Heyman. Next week it'll be Sheamus and Dolph Ziggler putting over Roman Reigns. Steph will put over Roman big time. Triple H, if he can finally, find the words and get his